What's up, guys? Welcome back to Adobe Live. Thank you all for sticking around here to check out our second installment of the Magic Hat Design Off. My name is VooDoo Val, and I'm going to be your host slash artist for another hangout session with my new friend Tyler Pate. How are you, Tyler?
Hello, hello. I am really good. Ready to wrap this thing up and get it in front of you guys.
Awesome. I'm super excited to jump over and show everybody what everything's looking like. You guys can't see it yet, but it is a masterpiece. Let me tell you, I'm ecstatic about this. But first, before we dive into work and everything for today, I'd first love to give a shout out to Kyle T. Webster, who was on just before us, who I believe was painting a mouse in a dress being carried away by the wind and an umbrella. There's really never a dull moment on the Draw Along stream, so always check that out if you can. Thank you, Kyle. It's a pleasure to watch you work. I see tons of familiar faces in the chat. I see Sukosma, RB, Graphic, Rima, Martha, Daniel. It's so good to see you. Some dude named Tyler Pate. I don't know who that is. That's all right. Elizabeth is here. It's good to see all you folks. Thanks for popping in. So for anybody in chat who is hanging out and has never seen a design off before, essentially what we're going to be doing today is picking up where we left off yesterday, which was we have a magic hat, which I will snag right here. This is our magic hat for today. And inside of this magic hat, we have a bunch of words that Tyler and I have come up with together, and we drew 5 words apiece yesterday. So the way it works is once we have our words, Tyler and I get to choose a minimum of 3 of those 5 words to try to work into a brand new design on the fly. So we had a good time yesterday. I believe Tyler's words were, we have witches, mixtape, putt-putt, bottle cap, and lightsaber.
Yep.
And then my words were concert poster, binary sunset, video games, werewolves, and dinosaurs. So we created some artwork, and I'm going to pan over right now just to kind of show off what we did. I have started this poster, like a concert poster for like the headliner band called Binary Sunset, and I am slowly working in some of the other themes based on the words, and then I'm just gonna pass things over to you and let you like explain this because it is glorious. It is just good. Okay, let's see.
Okay. First off, I was saying before we started, I was like, I'm so happy with like that unfamiliar like feeling, and then it actually works, because these words were like baffling me at first. And then I think somebody mentioned Adventure Time whenever I was talking about witches or wizards, like what's the difference? And then I kind of like sketched this little guy right here up, and I was like, all right, I'm just gonna run with that, see what happens. And then why not have a spells mixtape just go haywire, and you're gonna have some penguins in the background dueling it out, because that's just what they do.
Because obviously in this world, if you have spelled mixtapes, then you definitely have penguins having lightsaber battles with lightsabers and golf clubs. Because duh. So this is what Tyler and I have so far. We're going to be kind of chipping away more at our designs for the rest of the stream. Towards the end of the show, though, I would love to see maybe some sketches or anything that you folks have come up with. So we have a hashtag, which I have up on the screen here, hashtag Adobe Live Design Off. If you guys would also like to use some of the words that we drew to illustrate or design or prototype anything, any kind of design at all that you think would be fun, please do so. It doesn't have to be finished by the end of the stream. It doesn't have to be completed. It doesn't have to be any kind of masterpiece, but we would love to see them on Instagram or Twitter if you post them with that hashtag, and I'm going to pull them up. I'm going to look through anything that you folks have posted to us at about maybe like the 5-minute mark towards the end of stream. Give you guys a shout out, say thank you, and spotlight your social media accounts on the stream. And yeah, so that's what we've got. Sam Peterson in the chat is like, Gunter! Yes, it is Gunter and Evil Gunter in the back. Although I feel like they might both be Evil Gunter.
Yeah, you know, they're dueling for power. That's how it goes, right?
Yes, definitely. Brady says, bless up, success up. I like that.
Oh, Brady.
I like that.
Brady's the man.
Do you know Brady?
I do.
Ooh, who's Brady?
Brady is the art director, our creative director and founder of Hook USA in Charleston, South Carolina.
Ooh.
So big ups to him.
Wow. Welcome in, Brady. We got Lucy Jackson saying hello. Hello to you as well, Lucy. I'm so glad that everybody is here hanging out with us. So yeah, definitely, I'd love to hear in chat too, like what you folks are creating. If you're using any of the words that Tyler and I sort of drew and have been incorporated into our designs, or if you chose maybe your own words.
Yeah.
And also, I guess, if anybody wants to, this isn't something I've ever done for a Magic Hat game before, but if somebody wants to, I could also draw an extra 5 words out of the hat, just in case folks in chat want some words that are different than ours. So what do you think about that, chat? Would you guys like some extra words just for yourselves, so that you guys have like a new design place to start from? Let me know. Okay, I am currently, I realized one thing that my binary sunset text does not have, aside from the color, because I added the color between yesterday and today, but I realized that like the cool chunky like retrowave text usually always has like some kind of a black line through like the text to kind of give it a little more depth, and it's something that I like anytime I do text like this, I forget to add. So I'm going to group all of my stuff for this text, and I'm going to add a little bit of shine to it.
Can I just say I love that subtle noise and texture you got in the text.
Ooh, thank you. I appreciate it. I'm having like an absolute blast with all of this.
Yeah.
It's been a lot of fun. So it's like, it's a style that I really love. I've always loved, but I very seldomly get the chance to kind of recreate it myself.
Yeah.
So being able to do this has been pretty fun. It's been
That's
pretty
awesome. Cool. I can't say I've ever explored that style, but I do appreciate it. I don't know if you know the artist James White.
I think so, yeah.
You know him?
Yeah.
Yeah, he does like all sorts of like retro vibe things like that. It's really fun.
I'm gonna pull it up just because I want to make sure I know who, because you know, like when you hear about designers, sometimes you know exactly who people are talking about, but you might not know their exact name.
Yeah, for sure.
Oh yeah, definitely.
Oh, dude, he's pretty wicked when it comes to that retro style.
Oh yeah, this is awesome. Another really awesome awesome artist that does a lot of kind of like cyberpunk retro wave stuff is someone that you folks in chat may actually recognize. We've had him on the Adobe Live stream before. His name is Justin Mazel. And he does some pretty rad stuff. He's definitely one of those people where I'm just like, I want to be you when I grow up. Is that still cool to say when you're older than 26?
Yeah.
Is that okay? Brady says, my man, love y'all bad. Nice.
There we go.
Nice.
Dude, speaking of like shout outs, Brady is like a wizard when it comes to brand and identity. So I actually interned at Hook whenever I was just starting out, and dude, he hooked me up.
That's
for sure.
Awesome. I can't say I've never like interned anywhere for design. I have always I've always just like kind of stumbled my way into like
Mm-hmm.
freelance jobs. So what is
Yeah.
that? What is that like? Like, you know, getting to a company and then just suddenly interning at a place.
It's it's interesting. I'm sure everybody's got, different stories about it, but I know with mine, I felt like it was one of those where, I tried reaching out to so many different people by email and, I just never got any sort of response. And, I had like a portfolio. I might have been like a junior in college,
Mm-hmm.
and I was just trying to do something for the summer. And it got to a point where I wasn't hearing anything back, and I was like, you know what, screw it, I'm gonna make a trip to. At the time, it was going towards Charleston, South Carolina. I'm just gonna make a trip down there, and I'm gonna knock on some doors, pretty much.
Nice.
And sure enough, a couple people would let me in, and I had my spiel, and I talked about what I needed and wanted from the experience, and Brady was one of those guys where he answered and he was like, "Dude, your portfolio is amazing, man. Like this is awesome." And I was like, "Yeah, I emailed you a while back. I didn't get a response." He's like, "Yeah, I get flooded with emails all the time. It's hard to go through them." And at that point, I was like, "It makes complete sense, especially once you work in the industry. You're getting swamped with emails, so
Yeah, yeah.
networking is a must." But
Well,
he
I'm
hooked
I'm
me up.
glad you did that because
Yeah.
sounds like it was a great time.
Oh, for sure.
All right, how am I doing this? I kind of, I'm sure there's like different ways to do this, but I kind of like to just come in and like almost like invent it myself and like paint
Oh, nice.
my own little ring through this. And I know that there's going to be someone in chat that is like
Mm.
looking at what I'm doing here and like how I've merged everything and be like, this is not working indestructively. What are you doing? Like, so I just like, I'm not gonna change the way that I'm doing it, but I just want you to know I know that your eyes probably twitching, like through this process. So
Ugh.
sorry about that. Sorry about that, Adobe fam. Okay, let me make another one of these. I want to make this a clipping mask as well. Clipping mask, I feel like I always say this every time I make a clipping mask of anything, but I love clipping masks a lot.
Yeah.
They're like some of my most favorite go-to things for like just keeping stuff organized all in one place.
Oh,
Um,
absolutely.
they're really pretty fabulous.
Do you use compound mask much? I think that might be my favorite.
I don't think I do. No, I do not.
Uh, it's a really good one, especially if you have like multiple objects within a grouping or some sort of configuration. If you turn into a compound mask, you can then mask a larger shape, such as a texture or something, over all of those shapes, rather than just individual ones, which you would do with a typical clipping mask.
Oh no, that sounds awesome. I may test some things out. For now, since we are in terror mode, doing this on the fly, I may not try it now.
Yeah, no, I don't blame you.
All right, let's see what else I got here. I'm gonna duplicate this, and I'm gonna put it above, and I'm gonna come in here to my highlights. I'm gonna go like that, and am I gonna put this on a blending mode? I may. It's possible.
See in the chat that Mario was asking any tips to help illustration seem less flat.
Ooh.
I feel like that's kind of what I'm doing right now. I'm trying to give it a little more dimension on my piece. So sometimes just layering and coloring is the best solution. If you can start to master your shadows and highlights, you could really bring out some dimension to a flat object.
Yeah, I think too, when it comes to like not making things so flat, sometimes it like what helps is just like having a little bit of confidence in your own process too, because I used to make like with my paintings, I didn't have when I would like paint a portrait or something, I didn't have very much atmosphere or anything going, mostly because it would look flat to me. I would get discouraged with my own art,
Yeah.
and then I would stop before I should have, and I didn't give like
Oh,
those
man.
projects the I guess the appropriate time and consideration. So if your work is feeling flat, I would say kind of make sure you are like just kind of take a step back from it and think about ways that you can improve it, and then put some extra time into it at another time. Don't stop before it's too late, or before, don't stop too early. Because I've done that many a time where I was just like, this is not looking great, and then I see like old work a year later, and I'm like, why did I never finish this? It was going so well, but I
Yeah.
didn't think so. So
It's so funny that confidence idea. And it's like, I don't know how to really give experience or advice on how to build confidence besides just work in the programs more and more. But it does make the biggest difference. Like once you feel familiarized to what you're doing.
oh,
Kinda go-
definitely. I think too. It's kind of hard to. It's hard in general to have a lot of confidence with your work when you're doing something brand new.
Yeah.
I found myself in so many situations where I'm just like, I've never done this before, and I don't know when I'm supposed to feel like I'm making progress. And so if I don't feel like I'm making progress now, maybe it's too late and I'm not doing it right, if that makes
Yeah.
sense.
No,
So new
totally.
things can feel, it can be really hard to stay focused on enough. But yeah, just give it some time, and work up, I guess, your own. I have like a checklist of things that I
Okay.
do
Yeah.
sometimes when I know that I'm getting a little meh, on a project.
Yeah.
And so I'll get up, and go outside.
Yeah.
I will ask a trusted mentor or art friend for advice. I will, let's see, what else do I do? I flip my canvas. Gotta flip a canvas, especially if you're doing, like, if you're a painter, or an illustrator, or you're just doing, like illustrating a scene of some kind. Flipping that canvas is amazing. And sometimes I have to sleep on it. Like, I have to just step away from
Okay.
it for a whole sleep
Yeah.
cycle and look at it with fresh eyes later. If I do all of those things and it's still, I still can't get enthused about it and it's still not looking great, then maybe it's a lost cause. But I typically go down that checklist just to,
Interesting.
you know.
Yeah.
I'm
Yeah. It's so
adding.
easy to get inside your head.
Sorry, I think you're right. Yeah, it is. It is very easy when, especially when we're sitting at our computers by ourselves all day. It can be super easy just to be like, I am all alone. What do I
Yeah.
do with this project? How do I
Uh,
move on?
100%.
Convert to smart object. Let's add a stroke of, or actually, I might add like an outer glow. I'm really bad when it comes to this stuff because sometimes I'm like, oh yeah, an outer glow would be awesome with like some noise and all this stuff, and before I know it, I've added like so much garbage on top of like one of these signs that I'm just like, none of this looks
Yeah.
good together. They're all great in theory, but not in practice.
Yeah. It just takes that. It's trial and error sometimes for me.
Um, Looks like Reverb Mike is singing Don't Stop Believin' in the chat, and Martha is cueing the fog machines and lasers. I like it.
Nice.
There's a whole concert going on in the chat right now, and I'm digging it. Edison solved all his problems with a good long nap. I've never heard that, Reverb.
Okay.
But sometimes, yeah, I guess a good nap is definitely necessary. Clears your head a little bit.
That's one thing I can't do. I can't take naps.
I
Feel
am learning to take them.
Really?
Yeah.
I feel worse after.
I have to like I set my alarm, and sometimes I don't actually sleep. I just rest
Mm-hmm.
for like 30 minutes, like in
Okay.
the middle of my day. I'll just go
Yeah.
and just lay down, and I noticed that like when I did that, then it got easier. I'll like doze off for a half hour,
Mm-hmm.
and then I wake up, and if I don't sleep too long, then
Okay.
I do feel like pretty full of energy. But I think there is such a thing as like a nap where you're oversleeping. And then
Wait, wait,
and you
wait,
wake up,
wait.
you're like, am I
That
being
that's
called
called
out?
going to bed.
That's
That's called going. It's called going to bed.
Leave me alone, Tyler. I'm trying to share inspiring details about my life, and you are calling me out. Okay, that's called going to bed, Val.
No, no. That's why I don't like naps because I just rather go to bed and just sleep longer than I need to.
I mean, that's valid and fair. That's
Yeah.
that's. All right. I think I need. So I've at my binary sunset text is like blue and fuchsia, which I think looks cool with like the black background. But I think I'm gonna add. I've got like some cool wavy textures. I'm gonna bring in. And kind of create like some overlap happening on this like center card. And I don't
Nice.
know how that's going to look. This is one of those things where it may be like awesome in theory, but not in practice. So let's see if this is a design disaster or if this is something that's going to look sick. I don't know. I'm going to grab this one maybe? Let's see. It's pretty cool. And I'm gonna throw it on some blend modes for now just to see if I can get like a cool overlap with it. But what I may end up doing is like selecting some of these interesting hills and then just, yeah, I think that's what I'm gonna do. I'm gonna select some of the hills and like separate them out into different, different layers and see how that works. Maybe bring this back in. And then I'm going to have like some descending mountains around.
Oh, that's looking good. What you're doing. I'm like looking up and seeing what you're doing. I was like, wow.
Thank ya.
I'm not quite sure what I want to add more. I'm just gonna keep playing with the color. I think that's gonna help with where I'm at.
Sometimes that's all you need to do is just like kind of noodle with adding tiny color details because those can sometimes be more important than like adding another giant element, you know?
Yeah, I think so.
Let's select, I'm gonna duplicate that. Let's see what we got here. Yeah, that looks pretty cool. I'm not being very precise here, so if anyone in chat has got the eye twitch going on, I know. You'll hear me make a lot of excuses on the design offs at least. Like when I do the challenges, I'm like, okay, I should probably show as like proper a way to do this thing as I can.
Yeah.
But on here, I'm just kind of like, eh,
Yeah, you really don't have time. Like
no.
the hour goes by so quick, especially did last time. So
Yeah, definitely. I'm never prepared for it, no matter how many of these I do.
yeah, I don't know how you could. If the challenge is different every time, if the words are different every time.
Yep. It's fun though. It's like a Mortal Kombat test your might thing every week. So so I'm just like, let's see, can I do this again? Will I survive?
Yeah.
But for the most part, it's pretty rewarding, very fulfilling for sure. What are people in chat working on? What's going on, guys? I want to know if you folks are creating any designs with us. Just a reminder, and maybe just a little informative segment real quick for those of you who have just jumped in. What we did today was we are, basically continuing what we started yesterday, Tyler and I had some magic words drawn from a magic hat, and we have been illustrating and creating some things just kind of on the fly based on those words that we got, and it's been kind of a wild ride. It's been I mean, there have been lightsaber penguins. There,
Yep.
you know, there's a lot of stuff going on. There has been apparently Jabba and the Hutts are playing at my fictional concert. Um, that's going on here, so it's been a good time. But you guys are all invited to create something along with us if you like. I'm going to be pulling up the Twitter and the Instagram to check out the hashtag. You guys can also, because sometimes 2 hours is not really enough time for some of the audience to make something that they are proud of showing. I personally don't care if things are finished or not, but you guys can also always post during the week, because like today, I am going to be pulling up just the tag in general, and we will probably see some work that we didn't get to see last week, which is totally
Nice.
fine. So we'll take a look at old ones, and then throughout the week we can check out any more, just in case there's some folks who post after the fact as well. Not art related, but I'm creating a big to-do list for my class projects. Gotta stay organized. That is amazing, Elizabeth, and you're absolutely right. I think organizing your files and organizing your projects is basically being kind to the you of the future. It
Oh
is a
man, for
good
sure.
idea.
You know, like the worst feeling is, I don't know if you work with many linked objects. If you ever do any sort of After Effects or video
Oh
editing,
yeah.
you'll learn the pains real quick about just throwing things on your desktop home screen and then deleting them later, not realizing that you didn't organize it to link it. And
I did that once with an overlay for Adobe Live, actually.
oh man.
I just was like, I'll save this to my desktop, it's fine. And then I
Uh-huh.
like went to stream and I was like, where? Oh no, where is it? Where's my overlay? Because like I was like,
Yeah.
I'm gonna be a grown up and clean off my desktop. It's gonna be awesome.
Uh-huh.
Well,
That's how you have to learn. I mean, I think every time I've figured it out is because I definitely messed up once or twice.
yep. Trial and error. Hopefully, folks in chat though can learn from our mistakes. It's
For
really
sure.
the best way to learn about anything, I think.
Yeah. It's like saving anything as final and then having to do edits and then do final.
Untitled dash 24
Uh-huh.
final recovered.
Yep.
Like.
Yep. No, seriously, this is the final dot PNG.
I actually sometimes when I finally finish a project, if I've done that, I actually
Mm-hmm.
put in parentheses, or like in its own little segment at the end, no really. And then I'm like, oh, okay, this is the one right here.
Yeah.
Here it is. Okay, these mountains are semi-clean. I don't think anyone's going to be zooming in this close to look at my file after I post it. And if you are, that's really mean that you that you would do that, because I'm not designing this for close quarters inspection. Okay, it's not how this works today. I don't know. Like, actually, I'm curious. I gotta ask the chat. So, because I don't do this. Whenever I'm looking at something, and I'm just like, oh wow, this is really cool, I always zoom out so I can take in the whole thing. How many of you guys like actually zoom in to somebody's like photo edit or composite or whatever, and like just like look at like the teeny itty bitty details? I could be really hurting myself with this question, because then I'll know that you guys always do it, and I'll be hyper like worried about all of my small details from now on. But I'd love to know how many of you guys get in and look at the nitty gritty details rather than just taking in everything all at once. Also, Alice Lee's in the chat. What is up, Alice Lee? It is so good to see you. For those of you folks who do not know Alice, you should. She's a wonderful designer and a very kind young lady. And she actually has her own segment on Adobe Live where she does like a doodle therapy,
Nice.
which is really, really fun. It's like the most relaxing place online you can be. So give her a look-see on Behance and check out her show.
It's a great name. I feel like we could all use a little doodle therapy.
Yeah, right?
Whenever I have any sort of frustration with client work or just something I'm struggling with, it does help for whatever reason to step away and then just go draw for fun.
I do that all the time. I can't tell you how many Kylo Rens there are in my database of drawings for no
Yeah.
reason.
Well, there's always a reason. Come on.
Yeah,
You
I
just
know.
gotta get.
It's just the same
You just
reason every time. It's
you just gotta get to it. You need to make it in one of your pieces of art.
yeah, I do. I do. I've actually started, and I don't do this all the time, mostly because I don't want to get in trouble. And that is, there are some of my paintings floating around, or some of my graphic pieces floating around
Mm-hmm.
that actually do have little like superimposed Adam Drivers hidden in them.
That's
and
fun.
no one has found them, which means I'm doing a great job. But that's like probably
Just
how.
gave,
If someone
you
ever
gave the
steals
secret.
my work, I know. If someone ever steals my work or something like that, they'd be like, "Yeah, I made this." I'm like, "Oh yeah, where's Adam Driver's face?" What? What do you mean? I'm like, "Yeah, if you zoom in on this mountain and look in this small crevasse on the side, there's Adam Driver looking like a major sad boy. So this is definitely mine. Thanks. This is mine."
Nice. Hey, you gotta do what you gotta do.
It's a fail safe.
Yeah.
Okay, I think that works. This is also not very clean, but we're gonna do it. Boom. Okay. Duplicate, and now I'm going to like arrange all of these weird pieces in front and back of this weird tile that I have going on. Let me grab all of these and group them, and then I'm gonna pull them to like right here, I think, possibly. I think this is the tile. I did not group anything here because I'm a monster, but I think that's, yeah, there we go. So, let me grab the background. Ta-da! And hide that. And this one. Alright, here we go. So I'm gonna get fancy. I'm gonna get fancy up in here.
Whoa.
Yeah, I know. I'm not playing around. This is no
I know.
joke. Seriously, he's like, I don't know, Val. You've been playing around a lot. it's been a lot of playing around. Wait, what? I'm gonna go look now, and I'm gonna zoom in on all of them. Thanks, Chad.
Yep.
I think that's what Tyler was saying, and I was like, what does he mean?
The secret's out. Now
Yeah.
people are gonna look for you.
Yeah.
Oh, better yet, what if you just trolled everyone and they start trying to rip your work off,
Yeah.
and they're putting that in their work?
That's true. Maybe though, maybe this is all a lie, and now I know if they stole the work that I'll find Adam Driver superimposed. Because why would, for whatever reason, everyone that's ever stolen from me just have that man's face
Yeah.
in the background? Adam Driver does play a lot of sad boy characters. He does. They're all sad. They're all very sad. He does a really good job, but they all, like, I'm worried for him. I want to make sure he's okay. I want to ask him if he's all right. Alright, let me turn... I don't think I'm going to turn the opacity down, but I am going to duplicate this. Oops. And I'm going to make this one black. I'm going to group these together, and then I'm going to lower the opacity, because I won't be able to see anything behind it. No. Like this. There we go. You ever start doing something like in the design and you think like, oh my gosh, I'm so clever, no one is more clever than me, and then you do the thing and you're like, psych.
Yeah.
I actually don't know what I'm doing or where I am.
Yeah, I've been there.
Just had that moment just now.
I've sometimes struggled, like, I get stuck on an idea that I think is clever, and I will nearly break my back to get that idea to work. And I'm just like, why don't I just lose the idea and fix the problem?
Yeah, why not just try and do
Sometimes,
something else? But
yeah,
no.
it's like it's obviously not the best idea if it's not working.
Oh, you know what I did? I think I might have. How did this happen? Oh, that's how it happened. All right, 1 second. There, I put them into a group by accident because I had like a whole group, like not closed. So I just like drug all of those layers like into the center of a group that was clipping masks to something else. And I was like, wait, where did my where did all of my details go? What has happened? Okay, let me do this again. Another one of those moments where I'm just like, I definitely know what I'm doing. Come on.
Of course, of course.
I absolutely know what I'm doing. There we go. Perfect. Now I got my stuff back. Now it's visible again. I will now be zooming in on your work, Val. I should have just been quiet. And let's see. Elizabeth says, sometimes I like to see how detailed people are in their works with like photography or illustration, but I don't physically zoom in. Okay, cool. That's a lot. It makes me feel a lot better because sometimes I'm just like, what if somebody zooms into this one part that I'm super self-conscious about and they see what a failure I am? What do I do? But it's not always like that, I don't think. That's just what we fear.
Yeah. No, it's totally is. It's like when you second guess yourself. Half the time you think it's not a good idea, and you're worrying over sometimes nothing.
Mm-hmm.
It's like, oh, it is decent.
I feel like worrying over nothing is like a big part of the artist's experience.
Mm-hmm.
You know, not
Sadly.
knowing what you're doing and worrying for no reason. That's kind of it.
Imposter syndrome, yeah.
Mm-hmm. So imposter syndrome is an interesting one. So the way that I understand that is it's like, um, you know, worrying that as a designer you will be looking at other people's work or taking influence from other people's work so much that it will start to bleed into your own and you'll be basically like recreating the style of somebody else often.
Okay.
Is that what I
Uh,
mean? That's how I understood it, but I could be wrong.
I, I don't know. I thought it was doubting yourself, saying you're not where you actually are. For instance, if you're a professional designer, it's like, well, you are in the big leagues. You are making things, and you are creating things from scratch. Don't second guess yourself.
Yeah, yeah, I guess you're right. That's also a good. I don't. I would love to know now, like since we kind of had like different understandings. I would like to know if there's
Hmm.
any other interpretations in the chat.
Yeah,
Like what you
I'm sure they would
guys
know.
think about that. Um, but I think where imposter syndrome is concerned, at least the way that I understood it, is I try not to worry about that aspect of things
Hmm.
too much. Like if I'm going to be creating stuff and like giving the impression that I'm doing work exactly like somebody else to where my stuff doesn't seem original. I
Hmm.
think that, and I guess some people don't like to think of it this way, but I think that a lot of everything has kind of been done. And
Hmm.
so whenever I think of like something that I would really like to do, I try not to be like, oh, this has already been done. Someone's already created this idea, so it's not available to me to pursue.
Yeah.
If so much has already been created, and then it kind of just gives me like reaffirms that the idea that I want to take on like a tangent is popular. People are going to love it. And
Mm-hmm.
so I just kind of am like, yeah, okay, if people like this, I already know that. So now I know that if
Mm-hmm.
I do something, there's going to be somebody that's going to dig it. Um, and
Oh, I think we just got another answer on the imposter
ooh,
syndrome.
yeah. Imposter syndrome is a psychological pattern in which an individual doubts their accomplishments or talents and has a persistent internalized fear of being exposed as a fraud. Wow.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Yeah, I definitely can relate with that sometimes. It's just doubt. I mean, I think what you're saying it's similar too in the way of you're still doubting yourself, you know,
Yeah.
whether or not it's original or whether or not it's, gonna get uh the perception that you want.
Yeah, like are people gonna see this and just be like, uh, yeah, this is not what we want. This is not,
Mm-hmm.
we're not into it. Everything that you're doing is like basically you've wasted your time. Um,
Yeah.
and yeah, I can see that. I feel like though at the end of the day, the desire in the first place to create art means that you're meant to do it.
Mm-hmm.
Because I feel like, and I've this is another thing that I've said before, but I like to bring it up again because it's something that helps me personally to like get out of thoughts like that. Is like there's
Mm-hmm.
people that go their whole lives never really wanting to make art. There's people where like they wake up in the morning and like since they were a kid they wanted to like work with animals, or some people really like to
Mm-hmm.
work on cars, or they like to cook, they want to be a chef or whatever, and it never
Yeah.
it never comes to their mind like I want to paint today, or
Yeah.
something like that, or I want to create a website or design an app or something. And so if
Mm-hmm.
you wake up and you like want to do that kind of stuff, then it's probably meant to be. And so you should just make what you love, I guess. And I think the hard part about all this is that we are like so very ingrained in like being online, like online culture
Mm-hmm.
right now, that it can be really hard to keep your eye on the ball, so to speak, when it comes to this kind of stuff.
Mm-hmm.
It can be really easy to just be like, well, I see so many other opinions, or I see so much work from other people that's better, so why do I bother doing any of this?
Yeah.
But you gotta
That,
just keep on keeping on.
yeah, I like that. It is true because I always tell people whenever it comes to, if you want to start something for the first time or get better at something, it just takes the first step, which is doing it.
Mm-hmm.
You can talk yourself off the ledge and then you never even attempt it. So how do you ever know if you're gonna be good at it or bad at it?
Yep.
And even if you're bad, it's just I really feel like anyone can do some of the things that at least I do. It just takes time because I was there in those moments of spending every waking minute drawing and illustrating. It's like, man, it just takes time.
Yeah. And we are so our own worst critic. Like we're
Hmm.
not like in our heads, designers and painters and everything. We're not really super nice to ourselves,
No.
because we watched everything get created from start to finish, in
Hmm.
our pieces. We are not onlookers to our own work. We
Yeah.
are not spectators to our own work. So anytime we do something that we don't really like, we're gonna see that one piece the whole time. And sometimes you have to realize that like other people are not even like they don't even take that whole portion of your painting or whatever it is you've made into consideration,
Hmm.
when they look at your art. But because we know how it was done,
Yeah.
we see it that way. So you don't even know how people take in your work. You don't know how
Hmm.
you affect people, or how people are experiencing your art. So you gotta be easier on yourself.
Well, it gets back to what you were talking about earlier, about the details and zooming in really close.
Yeah.
You may say something about, well, I don't know if anyone's going to look at these details, but maybe it means something to you knowing that they're there, or
Yeah.
maybe that they're not there. I definitely take a lot of joy from the details, and I sometimes say, yeah, nobody's going to see this. No one will ever have the file, but I know it's there, and I know I did it the way that I wanted it to be done. And for the ones who do notice it, those are probably my people. Like
Mm-hmm.
those are the detail oriented ones that will probably appreciate it and say that's pretty cool. And I'm doing that all the time with other people's art. It's just like, oh, that's inspiring.
This right here is rad. GG,
Mm-hmm.
person that doesn't know I exist on the internet. Sometimes I see that and I'm like, I'll see someone else's art, and sometimes I like to like drop a line like when I see a thing where I'm just like, ooh, that
Mm-hmm.
hits me in the chest. Like
Yeah.
that right there is cool. But sometimes I'm too scared, so I just send out like a mental like salute in the force, and I'm
Mm.
just like, you. Artist, you got it going on. One day I will have enough confidence to tell you that I
Yeah,
love your work. But for right now, I'm gonna watch from a
yeah.
distance.
That's so interesting. I've only, and I'm still struggling with it. I've only recently got to where I try to reach out and, send a message, whether that's on Instagram, and I know it can get so um buried in some people's messages, but it's like just to put it out there. It's like, I love what you're doing. It's amazing. Because every now and then I'll get that from other people, and nobody knows your lifestyle. Nobody knows what you struggle with, creatively.
Hmm.
And it's like, to read that sometimes it's just, it's what you need to hear. And I only want to put more of that in the world.
Yeah, I have. There's been a couple of times where I saw somebody's work. I think the most recent artist that I did this with was, I believe his name on Twitter online is Nephalomancer.
Okay.
And he does. Actually, I'm gonna. Maybe I can give him a little shout out. I had to message him and just tell him that his work was incredible to me. Um,
Mm.
and yeah, I can. I think I can pull this out. Let me make sure there's no. Because sometimes there's nudity, and I don't want there to be on the stream. But yeah, here we go. There's. This is just like, it's just super cool stuff.
Mm-hmm.
Um, and just like incredible, crazy colors and shapes and things like that. And I just love it. And so I sent him. I was terrified, but
Yeah.
I sent him a message and I said, hey, your art makes my heart happy. I just need you to know
Yeah.
that, you know. And it was terrifying, but he actually was really nice, and he messaged me, and it was like a
Mm.
cool thing where I was like, wow, this guy actually, I'm sure he probably gets all kinds of
Mm-hmm.
messages, but he actually got back to me and was like, thanks, that's really nice. And I was like, you have made my life. So
Yeah.
yeah, I get scared, but like, don't let that make you guys get scared, because you guys might end up making like a really
Mm-hmm.
cool art friend. So
Yeah.
go for it.
No, no kidding. And even sometimes when you don't hear anything back, I think I sometimes struggle with that one, where it's like when you don't hear anything and it's just like,
What did I do
oh,
wrong?
exactly. And
Yeah.
I'm getting in my head about it. And, it's easier sometimes to talk about it like this, but in those moments, I'm just like,
What
I
did I
wonder
do?
why they're not responding.
Do they hate me? Yeah, but you know what?
Yeah,
It's, you never know. You never know what kind of lives people are living, and
exactly.
you know, and you never know how, maybe you guys, we've messaged people in the past who don't actually check their social media, because
Mm-hmm.
there's some folks in chat right now asking about like, how do you approach posting your work online and all that kind of stuff.
Mm-hmm.
And sometimes I approach it by, I post my work and then I do nothing else. Like, I'll post and
Mm-hmm.
I'll say like, here you go, world. Here's my work, and then I don't go and look at it at all after
Mm-hmm.
that. Also, I do want to say we are getting pretty close to the end of the stream here. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to pull up social media and I'm going to full screen on your work right now, so
Cool.
people can kind of watch you work while I'm messing around behind the scenes. And boom, there we go. But yeah,
Awesome.
if somebody is somebody who posts work without kind of interacting online, that could also be a serious reason for you not hearing back for them. And it's
Mm-hmm.
not because they don't like you or they don't want to hear from you. It's just because, that's just not what they do.
Yeah,
Uh,
we get busy,
yep.
That's kind of what happens sometimes.
Well, let's
But
see.
it's interesting. I think just the creative world, and I always try to encourage, everyone. It's like, you've got some sort of creativity there. You just maybe call it something different, or don't have the confidence to just do it openly.
Yeah.
But it's very interesting to see people find it and latch onto it, and it's just about bringing joy to it, because I don't know, it's just fun creating things. My idea about it kind of relates back to, well, it never existed until now.
Mm-hmm.
So all the ideas that you might think of, or something maybe you're inspired by, you might have an interesting twist on it, and it's
Mm-hmm.
like, it's not real until you make it real. And when you do, you look back and it's like, now it exists, and you move on. That's That's kind of what I do. It's like, all right, that's all I needed to do was to make it happen.
Plus,
What's next?
even if you do something that's similar, even if you take like the exact same concept another artist
Mm-hmm.
does, and then you do it too, no two art pieces are going to be alike. Now,
Yes.
what you don't want to do is say, "Hey, this is my original idea that I have
Mm-hmm.
created." If you really are kind of doing something inspired by somebody else's work,
Mm-hmm.
but I don't think it's bad to say, "Hey, I created a piece of art based on this, this image that you created, and
Mm-hmm.
that's what I did. That's why I messaged the Nephilimancer guy because I did a
Mm-hmm.
piece for the Spooks series that I did that because I'd seen a piece of his art and I was like, I
Mm-hmm.
have to make something right now. I got up off of my couch and I went
Yeah.
upstairs and I started working, um, and the two pieces were kind of similar, like
Okay.
different colors and stuff, different textures, but like a similar concept where it's like a silhouetted person with like glowing
Mm-hmm.
eyes. And so I sent my piece to him, and I said, "Hey, I made this piece based on inspiration from a piece that you have, and I just wanted to say thank you for creating awesome
That's
work.
awesome.
I like
Yeah.
it." And he was very it was very cool. Now maybe that would have gone differently if you would have just found a piece similar to his in somebody else's
Mm-hmm.
portfolio one day. So just
Oh
be
yeah.
open about it. But it was cool. Also, I want to pull this stuff up real quick before we have to take off because we got about 4 minutes left, which I can't believe. Um,
Oh man, crazy.
and I'm gonna refresh this and see Chad Rolf's knocking it out of the park very literally. I'm gonna pop over here onto Twitter. Magic Hat Game Adobe Live Design Off. It is a witch. He used the words bottle cap, witches, putt putt, and lightsaber. So it is a witch swinging a lightsaber like a golf club and knocking a bottle cap into the air. And it looks amazing. So
I
this is fabulous. Let me retweet this. This is so cool. And
let's
then
see.
I think we also got one from last week that Cozy Cute Shop completed. So thank you very much. This is awesome, Cozy Cute Shop. I
Oh wow,
appreciate you keeping up with
that's awesome.
the projects and posting them. So thank you, thank you. And then I think I don't know if we got. I'm gonna refresh. And then I'm going to also take a look at Instagram. Usually, Instagram, we get the least amount of submissions. I think people are more comfortable doing things on Twitter, but I like to leave it open because
Mm-hmm.
some people don't use Twitter. So we got this. This is from Creative Forge. This is what they were creating while they were watching our stream the other
Wow.
day. So this is Tie Meister. This is a bow tie company logo that they were designing while hanging out with us, which is awesome.
Nice.
Yeah, so thank you very much for sharing your work. I like to see this kind of stuff, even if it's not, the theme, because I know some of you
Mm-hmm.
folks, maybe you can't take time out of like your current projects, but if you can share what you were working on with us, it's good to just see what everybody's got going on in their creative life. So yeah, thank you guys so much for participating. If anybody posts any work between now and the next show, we'll definitely show them off. I typically don't, like, if you watch a show and you don't post something for another like several weeks, and I have to like scroll down through the feed to find it, that's a little harder for me to do. But if you post something for today or yesterday, between now and next week's show, um, it should just be right there in the feed when I scroll down the new stuff. So
Mm-hmm.
we'll definitely be able to show it. But this is about as far as I got. I still have to add some better uh, an orientation for like some of the band names and stuff. But I'm gonna full screen both of our pieces just so that we can
Nice.
see. So
I I'm looking at yours right now. I love what you did with the little
the
what do you want to
wavies.
call it? The yeah, that's almost like a horizon line in the text. Looks
Yeah.
good.
Oh yeah, yeah, yeah. So yeah, this is as far as I
Wow.
got. I'm gonna put some more effort into it off screen, and then I'm gonna pop over to yours as well if you wanted to zoom out and show
Yeah.
off your stuff here. Because also the colors that you have chosen for this are really pretty fabulous.
Thank you.
Gosh, that's looking good. I love the whole frame and everything. Oh
Yeah.
yeah. That's
I was gonna put some bottles down below, almost like they were partying, and then
nice.
some craziness happened at the putt-putt course. I don't know.
Yeah, just I don't know what they're fighting over, but it's like must have been a serious game. Very serious game.
Yeah.
That is all the time that we have for today, though, folks. So, Tyler, thank you very, very
Thank
much
you
for joining me. It is always an absolute pleasure having you on the stream.
for sure.
Thank you, everyone in the chat for jumping in. Elizabeth and Sam and Anna Davis Court jumping in at the end here. It's good to see you. Reverb Mike, all you folks that came in and answered questions and asked us questions and stuff. It's always great to see you folks. Yeah, until next time, everybody.
Awesome.
Adios.
Thanks again, everyone. See ya.